Hello, hello. So I originally planned to do a VOD review of Contenders match today, but I saw this posted in a Discord, and I also saw it on Twitter, and it is a meta breakdown as of for yesterday of what's been being running Contenders and some of the later parts of Owl. So I wanted to look at this because it's by jonoverwatc, and you may know this guy from Avast stream as a memer, but he's a coach, and I believe he coaches. I don't know who he coaches now. He doesn't coach anyone now, but he is a coach, and he was with XL2, Triumph, Team Doge, all those teams. So I wanted to make a video looking at this because the meta is something that's being in flux, and that we recently had a patch buffing Bat Brig, McCree, May, Symmetra, and Widow being changed. Not some of those were buffed, some of those were nerfed. Widow was nerfed. Um, but I wanted to look at these notes that are here, and the notes consist of, it seems, two parts of a patch overview of September, and then a prediction of what will be played. So I want to look at this first part, and he starts it by talking about a rock paper scissors uh sort of way the comps work, and this was the case with goats. I think, to what I recall, with like somber goats, standard goats, and triple DPS. But here he talks about the rock paper scissors of rush beats dive, and he has these comps here that this being rush, this being dive, and this being spam. So he says rush beats dive, so rush beating dive. Uh, I could agree with that if if you play, obviously the any comp can beat any comp, but this is on paper. So the rush, uh, being able to break down and isolate the targets of either a tank or a Zen Brig. Dive beats spam, so this comp beating this comp. Uh, that makes sense. Um, if you're able to get a hack on the ball because it has Sombra here, or if you're able to have a more traditional organized style comp with a more messy spam with the ball, and the spam beats rush. I absolutely agree with this. The spam, the damage, has a hard time keeping the rush together. And then he says this helps define compositions and the win condition, but this is by no means a concrete method of deciding what comps counter each other. There are always outliers in every meta, and some playstyles are obsolete depending on what is strong and what is not. For that reason, I'll separate playstyles in three easier viewing, into three for easier viewing for each meta breakdown. So, all right, let's go through this. We'll start with Rush. He says it's good on Koth. Koth and 2 CP Master is easy to connect to the enemy team and force fights, difficult against spam dive variants on more open maps. Absolutely agree. This comp was popularized after Fusion ran it into great success in their playoffs run against spam compositions. It remained in meta due to its ability to overpower enemy rush compositions as well. So this would be with the Reaper, Sombra, Diva, Winston, Moira, Lucio. You'd often see a Tracer to the Reaper with the Winston, or you can see a Reinhardt, or even a Zarya to the Diva, but I think the Diva is the best choice. He then goes on to say the composition functions off of getting close enough with your tanks in order to burst down defensive cooldowns from the enemy, and look for a hack on a killable target with the protection of the Winston bubble. After the hack goes off, Lucio can speed boost the Reaper into cleanup. Against spam compositions, the healing and defensive capabilities of this comp allowed him to cross distances without being spammed out in its prime. But this patch punished this type of play due to more ball being played, who disrupts dives and allows Echo to get more value, especially with her beam. Most popular in NA, significant teams that ran this comp were Revival, Drifters, and Square One. British Hurricane also showed mastery of this composition on some maps, but instead preferred to run a Rhine. So I absolutely agree with what he's saying. For sure. It was very strong originally, but as we saw towards the OW playoff grand final weekend, it was not run at all, and in contenders it is run sometimes, but it has a hard time against spam. So I agree. This is not. There's no best composition. There's comps that you'd run more than others. It all depends on the situation. Like he said, he's providing like, kind of just the standard way of how these comps interact with each other. But yeah, everything changes in the heat of a match. So onto the dive with the Ulysses Tracer Sombra Winston Diva Zen Brig dive. Great overall, especially on escort and payload, or escort maps or payload part of hybrid. Suffers more in closed Koth maps and almost never ran on 2CP. Most teams this month stayed away from this comp this patch. This composition on paper is fine, but just does not have the flexibility that the spam variant has with ball. Some teams like Suzanu attempted to swap Zembrig for Lucio and attempted to hard dive, but doesn't seem to be too popular in NA and EU. I expect more teams in China and Korea to favor this composition. I guess you could say that, yeah. It is a good comp, but the ball has way more flexibility with how you can operate, with being able to disrupt in a variety of different ways, but Winston's not able to do that. So that's why if you watch contenders, which you should, you'd see a lot more of the next composition, which is, he talks about a lot actually, which is the Echo Tracer Ball Diva Brig Zen Spam. Fantastic at attacks on hybrid escort, does well on Koth and 2CP as well. Most well-rounded of comps per map. Even though Ball Diva indicates dive, this comp is more spam-like due to the Echo pick. Diving in first in a mirror usually means your Echo player has to ignore the other Echo in order to pump enough damage in to kill the Brig Diva cover. In non-mirrors, most teams have countermeasures toward dive, usually a Diva plus one strong non-burstable hero, so it's easy to spam targets using Echo while fighting for space until someone looks vulnerable, or you manage to create an opening by splitting the Echo from their team. Saw Brig Zen being replaced by multiple support lines, all different objectives. Mercy Lucio untouchable comp. Mercy pockets Echo and plays for duel, while Lucio sustains Diva, forces objective, and remains elusive. Zen Mercy seems specifically for sniper-oriented maps like Junkertown. Mercy required for sniper pocket, while Zen looks to play for his life in order to orb pocket Tracer. Replacement of Echo for more defensive-oriented picks like Soldier Ash for a mix-up like Pharah, Avoided, or Obey running it in EU contenders. Replacement of Diva for Sigma for the same reason, excels as holding point and protecting backline but sacrificing movement. Most notable teams running this comp successfully from NA to EU were Obey, Alliance, Odyssey, British Hurricane, and American Tornado. I agree. You would see, I agree. What do you agree about? The Mercy Lucio, you would see a lot on control, because you have it's much closed in, and there's not it struggles with sight lines at times. So being able to have the mobility of a Mercy and Lucio, that's why you call it the untouchable comp here. The Zen Mercy for snipers, yeah, that makes sense. You would want the Mercy for the snipers with the pocket or the Tracer. You can run the Echo instead of instead for a Soldier Ash if it's more like on like high ground maps like 2CP. You can set up on a high ground for like Anubis or Volskaya or even Hanamura, like some of the maps that you'd feel comfortable running a Soldier Ash. And with the Ash, you'd typically run a Mercy. I'm a fan with that. Going up a bit, I agree, it's more of a spam. It may seem like a dive more so, but it is a spam. I do like his analysis, and yeah, that's something I'll be looking at myself. I like how he describes it. May look like a dive, but it is not. It's more of a spam, saying that the diving in first in a mirror usually means your Echo has to ignore the other Echo and pump it damage to kill through the Brig Diva cover. So yeah, I agree. I like this analysis, and his summary is the meta was more flexible than it ever has been due to the reduction of OP tanks and supports. for sure. Previous meta was defined by ridiculously strong supports and enabling stronger tanks, or ridiculously strong tanks enabling stronger supports. This patch doesn't have outstanding tanks or supports other than the ball, so it's possible to swap around picks for advantages and to play the counter game. I agree. That's why a lot of people have been saying Overwatch has been in the best state it has been because it's less strong tanks and supports, and you're able to flex around other picks. Besides the ball being quite a strong hero. So this is now the second part of a prediction as of yesterday. I'm recording on the 5th, so this is his prediction of what he thinks will be played with the new patch that we had with the McCree, Bat Brig, all those buffs. So he says Orisa, Sigma, McCree, +1, Bat Brig, Spam, Rush. Double shield. Win conditions for attack and defense are able to break shield and take space. Build ult for quick tempo pushes, or if on a smaller map like Koth, connect with the enemy team after forcing resources in order to win a brawl. Why is the next patch less flexible than the September patch? Well, certain picks like Orisa, McCree, Baptiste, and Brig were already strong. They just weren't picked because of Spam and Rush being too strong. Now that they're buffed, they can beat their counterparts quite easily. In short, we've reverted back to a one comp fits all meta. That's not what we want. We want the other patch. On paper, Rush beats Spam, but you cannot rush into an Orisa Bat Brig without heavy consequences. That is true. That is absolutely true. You would rush into the Spam to avoid the Spam, try to go into their fast, avoiding the long sight lines and prolonged fight. Just rush in and kill them, but if you have the Orisa Bat Brig core, is just disgustingly strong. This composition also has the flexibility of a Rush itself. Even without Lucio, you can win brawls because of the overwhelming amount of sustain and healing without trading the damage output due to ultimates. For reference, take a look at previous double shield play without Lucio, Genji Ashe meta from July. Absolutely, I agree. I agree, and this is not what we want. We want more flexibility. So he explains the +1. What does that mean? Here's where some flexibility can be shown. The one hero. I speculate that Hanzo, Torp, Sim, and Sim could all possibly be played. I agree. Soldier maybe there's one there, but I definitely agree with the Hanzo, Torp, and Sim. He goes on to say, in previous double shield meta, Hanzo is always a strong pick due to the pull dragon being an option for instant team wipes. They're able to force a drone due to Orisa's halt being nerfed by huge margins. Hanzo cannot do this as effectively anymore. However, forcing drone with dragon is still an option for him. More importantly, Hanzo provides an element of verticality to the most stationary comp. On maps like Rialto, where Hanzo could climb up to the high ground, he could also devastate a backline by himself or force the Sigma to turn around. In neutral fights, he could also provide more shield spam than most DPS. That is true. Hanzo is able to move around with his wall climb and his leap. He's able to take off angles. He's able to use his dragon, which is very strong. Yeah, I agree. I like the Hanzo pick. And he also explains Torb, which I also think is a very good pick. Torb is also an option. With the buff of BAP and the incoming window changes, Torb has the potential to be strong, especially for defensive points. Torb's firepower to shields is insane. Yes, you can just spam your rivet gun, your left click, along with his ability to brawl closer, which is the right click and his E, for sure. The turret increases the potential for strike kills, and his ultimate can win fights single-handedly. I believe Hanzo is still a better pick on attack points in some Koth maps, however. For sure. Speaking of Koth, I think Sim has the potential to be extremely strong on small maps like Li Shang's Control Center and Masant's Mecha Base. With the support of Berg, Bap, McCree, Sim can enable early fight dominance with the space given through spawn teleport and incredible firepower from the start that can't shut you down easily. The 25 HP doesn't hurt at all as well. May, come on, she's still strong. Yeah, but I can see her being played outside of some niche too. I can see her. Sorry, but I can't see her be playing outside of some niche 2CP defensive holds. May McCree was really strong when Lucio's ran with double shield, but I think BAP is way too strong and Break prevents other teams from running dive, which doesn't allow the Snow Demon to see much play. Hopefully, yeah. The wall is a lot less stronger, so it struggles with that. But yeah, on the maps like Nepal Village, the closed-in one. I could see, places where you can get the wall off and it fits the choke and you're able to isolate targets. Diva, he originally says Orisa Sigma, but he goes on to explain Diva, which is an important thing I'll talk about after. Yeah, you could easily swap Diva on maps that are better for her than Sigma, like Nubani, attack 1 where you need to contest vertical ground, but you can only get away with, but if you can get away with playing Sigma, he's probably still better. Yes, Sigma is very strong with the double shield, that makes it the double shield, but however, if you are getting contested by a rush, D.Va helps with that because Sigma struggles, his weakness being lack of mobility, but D.Va has the mobility that Sigma lacks, so you're able to take the off angles as D.Va and provide a lot of high ground coverage if you wish so to have that. And his last point, yes, is what about the other comps that were ran? Why don't you just play what was strong before? Counter picks. If his scan playability goes up, Echo's versatility goes down. Take reference from this patch right before where Ash was played every game. Echo didn't see the light of day despite being a very strong pick. McCree playtime goes up means Echo's playtime goes down. Ball and Tracer also suffer from the buffs because McCree, Sigma, and Brigger Ball's ability to cross their teams unimpeded suffers. Tracer also goes down for the same reason. There's no room to get in with a heavy consequences. The roar goes down while the risk goes up. Yes, this is how buffs and nerfs work, essentially. Blizzard thought dive was too strong, so why not just buff the absolute fuck out of these heroes that have been strong forever? Yeah, makes sense. So, I love this. I love this, this analysis. I will put it in the description. I love this. You should read it for yourself and talk about it with your team. Bring it up with your team if you're on one. Talk about it with your friends. It's very interesting. This is what we will see coming into the Gauntlet, which was announced yesterday on the Overwatch Path to Pro Twitter. So hopefully we will get to see something of this coming up soon. Get to see it in action instead of getting a speculation. But yeah, very good analysis. Hopefully the patch that we just saw doesn't ruin the amazing metas we've seen with the September stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you think? Do you agree with this? What do you think will be played? What do you want to be played? Let me know. Tell me all of that stuff in the comments below. Check out Twitter. You'll know when I'm live, so you can catch my analysis live and ask questions and all that stuff. So yeah, catch you guys later.